Chosen one, prepare your heart, because an offer far beyond what you once believed possible may be drawing near, and it will require you to reconsider the way you evaluate your worth, your abilities, and the direction of your life. I do not say this to plant blind excitement within you, nor to make you look at every person of status as though they must certainly be the door intended specifically for you. I want you to enter the coming season with awareness, courage, and a peace deep enough not to be overwhelmed by the outward appearance of an opportunity, someone with influence, decision-making authority, experience, or substantial resources may begin to notice what you are doing. This person may not yet understand your entire journey, but they may recognize something within you that is not easily found: perseverance refined in silence, honesty preserved after repeated disappointment, and the ability to continue building even when no one has yet acknowledged your efforts. You have been waiting longer than you realize. You believed you were merely trying to survive each day. Fulfill your responsibilities, keep everything from falling apart, and find another reason to continue moving forward. Yet, within those ordinary days, you were quietly preparing for a wider place. Each time you chose to do what was right, even when no one was watching. You were laying a foundation. Each time you continued learning before results appeared. You were expanding your capacity. Each time you refused to surrender merely because a door closed. You were becoming someone capable of standing firmly when a greater door opened. An opportunity may arrive in a single moment, but the ability to preserve it has been formed through many days when you believed nothing significant was happening. I know there were times when you felt invisible. You watched others receive recognition and invitations into important rooms while you remained outside, wondering whether anyone would ever truly see you. At times, you almost gave up on your own ability, not because all belief had disappeared, but because you were exhausted from working in an environment that offered so little response. But, my child, delayed recognition does not mean your value developed late. What is good within you existed before any powerful person noticed it. If someone is about to open a door for you, they are not creating the gift within you. They are only recognizing what has long been cultivated. Therefore, do not raise them so high that you forget your own contribution to this moment through discipline, endurance, and quiet choices. The offer may involve money, a new position, access, or a change in your living or working environment. But its meaning may extend far beyond immediate benefit. It may place you where your abilities can be used more widely. Your voice can be heard more clearly, or ideas that have remained dormant can finally become real. Yet every form of elevation carries responsibility. If you are entrusted with greater resources, you must learn stewardship rather than using them merely to compensate for every feeling of scarcity from the past. If you are given influence, remember what it felt like to be overlooked so that you do not make others invisible. If you receive decision-making authority, preserve humility so that power does not turn you into the kind of person whose behavior once wounded you. A gift becomes a genuine blessing only when it enlarges what is good within you, rather than enlarging the ego. This is why I do not want you to respond only with excitement. When the offer comes, listen carefully. Ask clear questions. And do not be afraid to request time to consider it. People with status can still be mistaken. and an important opportunity may still contain terms that are unsuitable. If documents are involved, read every section. If there are commitments concerning finances, employment, ownership, or reputation, seek advice from a qualified person who is not bound by personal interests. Something healthy will not require you to sign in panic. Keep a secret that disturbs your heart, or ignore important questions to prove your gratitude. Mature trust does not close its eyes to details. It allows you to move forward while preserving wisdom, boundaries, and the right to think carefully. You must also recognize the difference between the fear of growth and a genuine warning sign. When an opportunity larger than your present reality approaches, your heart may beat more quickly. Your mind may fill with questions, and a part of you may want to return to what is familiar. This does not always mean you should refuse. Sometimes it simply means you are standing before territory you have never entered. The fear associated with growth is often accompanied by a quiet clarity. You know the path will be difficult, but you also sense that it may help you develop. A warning sign, however, usually requires you to lie, conceal, abandon your values, or continually justify what is disturbing your peace. Distinguish between these through time, observation, and honest questions. The person who may soon notice you might not know your story, but they may see something in the way you carry yourself, work, or solve problems that others overlooked. Do not create a perfect image merely to preserve their attention. Be honest about what you know, what you do not know, and where you still need to learn. Wise people do not look only for those without weaknesses. They look for people who are trustworthy, accountable, and capable of growth. You do not need to pretend that you are ready for everything. You need only to demonstrate that you are steady enough to learn without blaming, humble enough to receive guidance without demeaning yourself, and clear enough to protect values that cannot be negotiated. I know rejection taught you to disqualify yourself before anyone else had the opportunity to choose you. You often said that you were not talented enough, experienced enough, or meant for important places. At first, these thoughts helped you avoid disappointment, but gradually they became a cage. When the offer appears, the former version of you may immediately remind you of every failure, every weakness, and every reason you should remain where it feels safe. Listen, but do not give that voice authority over your decision. You are not the same person you were years ago. You have learned, failed, corrected, and risen too many times to continue viewing yourself through the eyes of the past. The new opportunity must be evaluated according to your present ability, not fears formed during a former season. Yet, do not allow your desire for recognition to make you say yes to anything merely because the person offering it has power. After years of being overlooked, praise from someone influential may make you feel that you have finally been validated. But remember, my child, their attention is not the source of your worth. If you forget this, you may easily exchange your boundaries merely to preserve their approval. Be grateful to the person who opens a door, but do not make them the one who defines you. They may help you move faster, but the character that determines how far you travel must still arise from within. They may bring you into a new room, but your integrity, competence, and treatment of others will determine whether you genuinely belong there. Prepare today rather than merely waiting. Organize your records. Complete unfinished projects. Review your abilities. And practice explaining clearly what value you can contribute. Determine what you desire, the level of responsibility you can carry, and which boundaries you will not exchange. When an opportunity comes quickly, preparation will prevent you from becoming paralyzed. You do not need to know exactly who will call, when the meeting will occur, or what form the offer will take. You need only ensure that when the door opens, you are not rushing to find what should already have been prepared. Readiness does not mean knowing every answer. It is the ability to enter calmly. Ask what must be asked, and remain honest about what you do not yet understand. Chosen one. I am not promising that a powerful figure will arrive to rescue you from every difficulty. I am reminding you that significant turning points often come through people, and you need enough awareness to recognize an opportunity without surrendering authority over your own life. They may open the door, but you must walk through it with your own feet. They may provide resources, but you must use them wisely. They may present an offer capable of changing your direction. But the final decision must arise from clarity rather than fear of missing out. When the moment comes, stand firmly, listen fully, and do not make yourself smaller merely because the opportunity is larger than what you have known. You have been prepared more than you realize, and what is coming is not meant to turn you into a stranger, but to expand the steady, humble, and sincere person you have quietly become. You are passing through an intense transformation because genuine growth always requires leaving behind what no longer fits the road ahead. There are days when everything around you suddenly feels restrictive. Habits that once provided safety now leave you tired. Familiar places no longer offer peace, and certain relationships that once held an important place begin to feel distant. You may wonder whether you are doing something wrong or becoming too difficult to understand. But I want you to become calm and recognize that not every distance is a loss. Some things leave not because they are entirely bad, but because they completed their purpose in a previous season and no longer possess the capacity to accompany you into the next one. A garment that once fit is not evil because you have outgrown it. You simply cannot continue forcing yourself into it without feeling suffocated. The discomfort you feel is the meeting place between your former self and a new life. One part of you already knows that you cannot return to the way you once lived, while another part remains attached to what is familiar because it once helped you survive. You became accustomed to remaining silent to preserve peace, surrendering so that you would not be abandoned, and making your dreams smaller so that others would not feel threatened by your growth. These ways may have protected you for a season, but now they are becoming walls. I do not condemn you for once living this way. When someone does not feel safe, they will do whatever they can to adapt. Yet what helped you survive yesterday is not necessarily what will lead you into tomorrow. Eventually, you must learn to thank the lesson and then put it down. I am not turning you into someone unfamiliar. I am bringing you back to the genuine person who existed long before fear, doubt, and external judgment caused you to live beneath what you were created to become. The strength rising within you is not a gift newly placed there today. It has always existed, but it was covered by experiences that caused you to question your worth, your ability, and your right to be present. Each rejection placed another layer of dust upon your voice. Each time you were misunderstood, you learned to hide another part of yourself. Each time you entrusted your heart to the wrong place, you built another wall, so that no one could enter. Now, I am gently removing these layers, not to make you weak, but so that genuine strength is no longer confused with defensiveness. This explains why you sometimes feel unfamiliar, even to yourself. You have begun saying no to what you once reluctantly accepted. You no longer rush after someone who is cold. Spend hours explaining yourself to someone determined to misunderstand, or pour all your energy into relationships that survive only when you are always sacrificing. You may be surprised that certain things that once kept you awake no longer possess enough power to crush you. This is not because you have become cold. You are learning to return everything to its proper place. You still know how to love, but you no longer treat love as self-erasure. You still know how to forgive, but you no longer use forgiveness as a reason to reopen every door through which chaos once entered. There will be moments when you stop in the middle of a familiar situation and suddenly recognize how deeply you have changed. A statement that once made you immediately angry may now cause you only to observe quietly. A delay that once caused panic may now become time to consider your options. Someone who once made you question yourself through coldness may no longer possess the same power. These changes did not occur because you forced yourself to become strong. They were formed through countless moments when you chose calmness instead of reaction, truth instead of self-deception, and dignity instead of a false sense of belonging. Every small choice placed another stone into the new foundation until you became able to stand without requiring everyone's agreement. I am strengthening you from within so that clarity will no longer be a brief moment, but will become the way you see your life. You are beginning to distinguish what genuinely aligns with purpose from what merely appears attractive because it touches a sense of lack. You understand that intense emotion is not always evidence of the right connection, and familiarity does not necessarily mean safety. You no longer evaluate an opportunity only by how impressive it appears, but by what kind of person it is leading you to become. If a door requires you to betray integrity in order to enter, it is not elevation. If a relationship causes you continually to doubt your worth, it is not where you are called to remain. New discernment will help you recognize these things before you pay too great a price. As you change, not everyone will feel comfortable. Some will question your new boundaries because they once benefited from your lack of boundaries. Some will call your calmness distance, call your growth arrogance, or make you feel guilty because you no longer react as before. They may remind you of who you used to be, as though the version that continually surrendered was the genuine you. But, my beloved, do not return to a room that has become too small merely so that others do not need to adjust the way they see you. Your growth is not a betrayal of anyone. It simply reveals which relationships can grow with you and which ones existed only while you remained weaker. Even so, I want you to preserve humility throughout this process. Do not use your growth as a reason to look down upon those who do not understand you. Do not turn boundaries into walls constructed from bitterness. Some people cannot travel farther with you, but that does not make them evil. Some relationships must end, but you can still leave with kindness. You do not need to wound others in order to prove that you have become strong. Mature strength knows how to speak clearly without humiliating, leave without taking revenge, and close a chapter without cursing those who once appeared within it. Carry the lesson, but not the poison. Preserve wisdom, but put down resentment. I also remind you to remain grounded in simple things while transformation is taking place. Care for your sleep, your work, your health, your responsibilities, and safe relationships. Do not neglect practical daily steps merely because you sense that you are entering a new season. Profound growth is always revealed through the way you manage small things. You do not need to create chaotic change in order to prove that you are moving forward. Sometimes the greatest step is simply refusing to respond immediately to a message that provokes you, declining an invitation that does not fit, completing work you have postponed, or spending quiet time listening to what you genuinely need. Orderly choices will prevent strong emotions from carrying you away from solid ground. The road ahead is intentional, but it does not require you to know the entire map in advance. Remain faithful to the clearest step available today. You may not know exactly where you are going, but you already know where you cannot return. You know that you cannot continue living by pleasing everyone. You cannot keep giving your time to things that exhaust you without producing anything good. You also cannot continue calling endless endurance loyalty. These realizations are enough to begin. Each time you walk according to the truth that has been illuminated, the next direction will gradually appear. There will be days when you miss the former version of yourself. Not because you want to return, but because familiarity has its own pull. Do not feel ashamed during those days. Longing does not mean that you chose wrongly. You can miss someone while still knowing that you should not return. You can appreciate a former season while understanding that it has ended. You can grieve a closed door while recognizing that its closure is protecting you. Allow emotion to pass through without turning it into a command. You do not need to obey everything you feel. You need only to listen. Name it honestly, and continue choosing with wisdom. I am leading you toward a life in which resilience is no longer used merely for survival, but becomes strength for building. You will use what you have learned to create healthier relationships, clearer decisions, and a future no longer arranged around the fear of abandonment. Purpose will gradually replace the need for recognition. Peace will become your standard rather than a rare reward. You will recognize that the unfamiliar feeling within you does not mean you have lost yourself, but that for the first time in a long while, you are seeing yourself without the covering of everything that once made you shrink. Therefore, do not move backward merely to be understood by those who know only your former version. Do not allow guilt to pull you back into patterns from which you have been released. Continue moving forward calmly, kindly, and responsibly. You do not need to announce your transformation. Let the way you live speak for you. You do not need to argue with those who doubt. Time will reveal the new foundation. Every step you take in integrity is bringing you nearer to the life prepared long ago. You are not becoming someone else. You are returning to the voice, strength, clarity, and purpose that fear once attempted to conceal. This time, you will not apologize for growing. You are being prepared to recognize an important door when someone with influence, resources, or decision-making authority begins seeing the value that others have overlooked within you. I want you to understand that this may not arrive with great noise or an event that immediately astonishes everyone. It may begin through an ordinary conversation, an introduction, a seemingly simple question, or an opportunity smaller than you imagined. Yet behind that humble beginning may be an important redirection, giving you access to rooms, resources, and roads you could not previously enter alone. Therefore, do not look only for brilliant signs. Pay attention to those who listen carefully, to meetings that expand your vision, and to invitations that require you to leave behind former ways of seeing yourself. The pressure you have felt may not have appeared to break you. Some seasons of tension reveal where you still doubt your worth, where you make yourself smaller before powerful people, and where you refuse opportunities because you fear you are not good enough. If a significant proposal arrived while you still carried this posture, you might step backward before the very door for which you prayed. You might disqualify yourself before anyone evaluated you. Accept less than what is appropriate, or agree to everything because you feared the opportunity would disappear. Therefore, I use the recent season to form a new steadiness within you. You are learning how to recognize your abilities without arrogance. Acknowledge your limitations without contempt for yourself, and enter an important conversation without losing your voice. What is approaching may not concern only money or a title that changes the way others see you. It may provide access to knowledge, connections, environments, and the ability to create greater influence. Some offers appear attractive because of the numbers involved, but their most valuable part may be the door they open. You may be placed near people who help you see a wider vision, given space to develop a gift that was neglected, or invited to participate in work carrying long-term meaning. Yet, every expansion carries responsibility. You are not only called to enter a new room, you must also learn how to preserve your character while inside it. Do not allow recognition to make you forget the quiet days, and do not allow access to make you overlook those who stood beside you when you had nothing to prove. I tell you this so that when the moment comes, you will not allow fear to speak more loudly than clarity. You were often underestimated and passed over as though you carried nothing special, while others were selected and you continued waiting. These experiences may have created a dangerous reflex. When someone genuinely recognizes your value, you assume they must be mistaken. You begin searching for reasons to refuse, questioning their motives, or believing you will soon be exposed as incapable. Put down this way of thinking. You do not need to know everything before you receive an opportunity. What matters is your honesty in admitting what you do not know, humility in learning, and endurance in continuing to develop after the initial emotion has passed. The person placed upon your road may recognize something you once struggled to accept: your ability to see what others overlook, your perseverance during seasons without encouragement, or creativity formed through years of finding your own way. They are not necessarily coming to rescue you, because you must not place your entire future in one human being. They may only be a bridge during one part of your journey, while the source of your guidance remains anchored in me. If you regard them as a savior, their approval will quickly become a chain. You will fear disappointing them, hesitate to ask questions, and easily exchange principles to preserve your position. But when you understand that they are only a means used at the right time, you can appreciate their support without losing freedom, cooperate without becoming dependent, and remain grateful without elevating a person into a place that does not belong to them. When the offer arrives, do not make yourself smaller, but neither allow excitement to destroy discernment. Listen completely. Ask for clarity concerning what you do not understand, and examine the responsibilities involved. A genuine opportunity is not afraid of reasonable questions. If there are terms, read them carefully. If there are expectations, ask for explanation. If you need time to think, calmly request it. rather than agreeing immediately from emotion. I do not lead you into a place where you must ignore every sign of uneasiness because you fear another opportunity will never come. What is right may require courage, but it does not require betrayal of wisdom. Receive it with open hands. Yet keep your eyes awake and your heart in peace. You also do not need to press a button or type a number to prove that you are ready. If a symbol helps you remember this moment, let it serve only as a reminder that genuine preparation must become visible through the way you live. Your agreement is expressed when you update your records, strengthen your abilities, complete what you postponed, and enter every conversation prepared. Faith is not only saying that you believe a door will open. Faith also means placing yourself in a position where you can walk through when it does. Bring order to what is disorganized. Learn what you still lack. And stop waiting for complete confidence before beginning. Confidence often does not arrive before action. It grows as you take each step and discover that you can learn while moving forward. I heard your quiet prayers, even the ones never spoken aloud. I know the nights when you wondered whether your life would ever change direction, whether perseverance would lead anywhere, or whether every effort would disappear into silence. I saw you continue doing your part without clear evidence. Rise when inspiration was gone, and preserve hope, even when it became so fragile that you feared one more disappointment would extinguish it. These moments were not wasted. They taught you how to work without depending upon applause, remain faithful without constant reassurance, and build value before the world recognized it. This is the strength you will need when a larger opportunity appears. Because beginnings may be exciting, but only faithfulness will carry you through the long road. The transition may happen more quickly than you expect. One day, you may still be living within your familiar rhythm. And the next, you may need to make a decision capable of changing your direction. Do not allow speed to frighten you. Quick does not necessarily mean wrong, just as slow does not always mean right. Return to clear standards. Does the opportunity align with the character you desire to preserve? Will it help you develop, or merely feed pride? Will it create genuine value, or only produce an impressive outward appearance? As the answers become clearer, you will know how to move. Genuine assurance is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply a deep steadiness within, giving you enough courage to say yes without forcing yourself. Remain alert in the coming days, but do not live tensely as though every meeting contains a prophecy. Be present, listen, and observe the threads gradually connecting, an idea returning, an unexpected person reaching out, or an invitation bringing you nearer to something prepared long ago. You do not need to assign meaning to everything immediately. Allow time, truth, and fruit to confirm what is genuine. What belongs to you will not merely make you feel selected. It will call you into greater responsibility, generosity, and steadiness. When you recognize the moment, stop asking endlessly whether you deserve it. Ask what you must prepare, whom you are meant to serve, and which qualities you must preserve as you enter. I am not bringing a door to you so that you continue standing outside because of shame, nor am I opening a road so that you lose yourself through ambition. I want you to enter with confidence, purified by humility, joy protected by discernment, and gratitude that does not become dependence. What once caused you to feel overlooked is being used to keep you near those who have also been disregarded. What once required you to wait is teaching you not to waste the opportunity when it comes. Therefore, stand upright, prepare carefully, and keep your heart peaceful. When the offer appears, you will recognize that it is not merely an external change. It is evidence that the person you quietly became is finally meeting a door equal to that growth.